Yes.
Is it just at the water treatment plant, or is it lift stations around the city?
First, I believe, is the water treatment plant itself. I think they've got 10 major pumps, and they're all due for replacement over the next 2-year cycle. After that, then they'll hit the lift stations and so on. Some of the stuff in the lift stations actually isn't all that old. It depends, of course, depends on the lift station. So I believe they will have some sort of analysis of like, well, how old is it? How much does it cost operating? What is it? Like, they will be doing that cost benefit. But I believe every pump at the water treatment plant is going to go for replacement.
And do you know what they expect to save out of that?
No, but I know that their existing electrical bill is in the millions of dollars.
I think the sewage treatment plant is the biggest or second biggest user of energy of any city facility.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and they're.
I was shocked to see that number. I've never seen that. That's huge. Like it was 32% or something. Can you go back to that slide?
33.
Sure.
It was just huge. Yeah, 33%.
And that's what like really gets me. We've got a very, very high organics in our sewage line. And you talk to some people about they're renovating their house. Oh, I'm putting a new carburetor. Why? Well, so I can put all this organics, instead of putting it in the trash, it goes down to the water treatment plant, like the wastewater. It's more efficient, it's a better system. No, it's not. It's difficult. It's difficult to get the organics out. So actually, you've got this extra burden on the wastewater plant. Plus, your fluid is that much thicker. Your pumps have to work that much harder to push that around the city. Your electrical demand far outweighs any kind of environmental saving you have dumping food down the drain.
Are carburetors actually still allowed?
In the downtown core, they're not, because the system can't handle it. If like all those apartment buildings were dumping food down the drain, we just couldn't do it. So it's not allowed, but then again, it's not going to stop people from putting it in or not.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I believe it's still fully acceptable.
I just put one in, I didn't know.
This building has one?
Ron, don't use it.
You should have a compost. You should have a compost.
I do, yeah. That's just frightening. I had no idea. That's good to know.
So that's why, and really, the more sprawled your city, the more that's going to go up. Like this is like Briarwood. Briarwood's a nice neighborhood. Everybody likes to go there. But just because of the way they've got it shaped, how spread out, all those things that make it desirable. Oh, I'd love to live there because of space. Per capita, how that affects like the water, the infrastructure, the sewage infrastructure, we're not doing that anymore.
I think when you look at this pie chart, it's important to realize that those buildings are only the city-owned buildings.
Yes, that's
where
right.
all of us are using that water and sewage.
Yeah. And city vehicles too, right?
City vehicles, yeah.
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 Well, we said that. So this is the cost of all of our pumps to push that sewage. So it doesn't matter where it's coming from. We're still going to have to.
But it's serving all of us.
Okay, I was just reading that. So, of that water sewage, how much is water versus sewage, do you know?
I don't know the breakdown of that. But I believe the sewage is higher. The wastewater treatment is, I know for electrical demand it's much higher. But this is just total greenhouse gas.
And that wouldn't be stormwater, that would be sewage.
Well, the stormwater, like ideally the systems are supposed to be separate, but there's a lot of cross-contamination. So when we have a heavy rain event, that's when our wastewater plant's running at maximum capacity. So there's definitely a big influence with stormwater.
Okay.
And it's getting distributed onto the farmland.
Greenhouse gas inventory has that detail.
You send me a link?
And you know what the beauty of heavy metals is?
I'll look and see
It
where
never goes away.
where I got that information from before.
But anyways, we won't go there.
The Go Green program in Saskatchewan, which is to put out an RFP
I'm not going to
doing the water conservation program. So I'm bidding on it, just
Who's
fun
putting that
project. Yeah, it'd be fun.
Who's putting it out?
Go Green and Environment Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't realize the statistics. Now it makes more sense.
Yeah, and they say also, like when you think about like water conservation, a lot of people when they start talking about water conservation, they say the world only has so much fresh water. It's so small. There's so many people who can't use it. Well, that may be true on a global level, but here, like Canada, we're rich on water. Particularly Saskatoon, we're right on the river. The water that we take out of the river, we put back a very large percentage of it. Like I think it's well over 80% that we're
Higher than that.
yes, it's a huge percent. We actually always bring out a very, very small amount of the water. So when you think of water conservation to save water, that is completely meaningless to us. Don't turn off your tap because, oh, somebody in Africa needs the fresh water. It's pointless. But there is the point that water that you are pouring down the tap or flushing down the toilet, well, that did get, the pumps pushed it through the water treatment plant, they did all the treatment there. We're pumping it around the city, it goes down your drain, it gets pumped to the wastewater plant, they treat it, it goes to the river. So it's actually the electrical demand. Don't flush your toilet because of the electrical costs. But after all, when you look at everything, you're still better off turning off your lights. But they're both important.
Use LEDs.
They're both important.
But now I understand the concept on the water, because my understanding of water is it comes down, you use it, it evaporates, it goes back up, comes down again. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's the same with water, but when you explain it.
Well, for us, like we get our water from the river. And then again, like now, if there's a severe drought and the water level dropped by half, it still wouldn't affect us in any way at all, because the water level, we take about 3.5 cubic meters per second out of the river. The river currently flows at about 200 cubic meters per second. Because of Gardner Dam, that has a requirement that they have to release 144 cubic meters per second. So if Gardner Dam got completely drained and we were just running off of just natural flow, we still have, because of the weir would cause water to back up. So we'd still always have enough water to supply all of our needs, and you don't have to worry about using it because most of it's just going back into the river too after treatment. So that whole water like we have to worry about, it really has no effect on us here.
So you're saying it's not the water itself, it's the electrical energy.
Right. But now from the water conservation issue, what does matter is things like irrigation, stuff down, up, and down. Now those are big issues where we have to hit the water conservation. But from a city point of view, it's more the electrical and the greenhouse gases associated with the electrical of why you want to save your water.